There's a rundown of the afternoon. There's a few films, a little bit of context from us, and lots of discussion hopefully from you as well. So please see this as an interactive thing rather than us talking at you. That's not the idea. So I'll hand over to Neil.
Yeah, I think, hopefully I don't go over 10 minutes. I don't want to go over 10 minutes because I think it's better people speak to Margaret and Mary and Helen and have a discussion about their experience. But we do think it's important to kind of put this in a wider context of regeneration in the city centre. Probably most people know that Glasgow has a 5.6 billion waterfront development along the Clyde River corridor. It's called the Metropolitan Growth Corridor. And the development East End takes place within that context. You have the Clyde Gateway, which is the biggest regeneration programme in Scotland. It's also massively state-funded, state-subsidised development programme. And the Commonwealth Games kind of sits in that general regeneration package, I would say. In fact, the Commonwealth Games, in a sense, is kind of like a symbolic front, and it also ensures that there's lots of money, public money, that's going into that area that can assist the wider regeneration programme. But before we start, I think it's important to express our opinion, and I think Libby would agree with this, but we see regeneration very much as gentrification. And I would agree with Neil Smith and his well-known geographer. But precisely because the language of gentrification tells the truth about the class shift involved in regeneration of the city, it has become a dirty word to developers, politicians and financiers. So regeneration is kind of wrapped up in this quite sort of wholesome, kind of white knights coming to the rescue of these poor deprived communities. But actually, as Neil Smith would suggest, and I think it's quite clear from empirical observations in Glasgow, and I think you can see that from the kind of situation that these people here have lived on the East End. Quite often that involves a really dramatic class shift, you know, so that is predicated on regeneration, is predicated on rent extraction, on the enhancement of council tax bans, on land development, and I can see that quite clearly as part of a huge land grab. And if you look at the East End in particular, and lots of other regeneration areas, Manchester is a good example of this, London, the Thames Gateway area, those are areas that have long-term economic decline, you know, a lack of investment for many, many years. So the land values have gone down very, very low. And with a kind of huge symbolic leap that these games events can make, there's a chance to turn those areas around on a massive scale and basically find a new way to take advantage of that land and that property, you know, and revalorize it and change the class distinction scale. So alongside that, you have a sharp degree of displacement. It's a really common feature of these types of large-scale developments. In fact, I would say it's actually completely bound for these developments that have a large amount of class displacement. I mean, it's useful maybe to look at like a Wikipedia. It's generally not useful to look at Wikipedia, but occasionally it's worth it. And here's a definition of gentrification. Gentrification refers to the changes that result in wealthier people, gentry, acquire property in low-income and working-class communities. Urban gentrification is associated with movement. After gentrification, the average income increases and average family size increases in the community. It is commonly believed that this results in the poorer native residents of the neighbourhoods, being able to pay increased rents, house prices, property taxes, and being displaced. Often old industrial buildings are converted to residences and shops. In addition, new businesses catering to a more affluent base of consumers move in, further increasing the appeal to more affluent migrants and increasing the accessibility to the poor. I think Glasgow is a really very, very good example of that. The collapse of the shipyards in particular is a really concrete example of the early 70s. We had a huge industrial corridor along the Clyde River where the values of the land and property have gone down dramatically. And it's taken a long time and an awful lot of public subsidy and an awful lot of development interest and, you know, a kind of convergence of state and private forces to begin to change that landscape dramatically. But I think if anybody kind of questions the class basis of that, it's interesting to go down and look at a place like Glasgow Harbour and look at a place like the City Quay and ask yourself, who are the kind of people who are walking around in those areas? How is this kind of symbolic placement who is it directed at? Who benefits from it? So this can probably be understood within an entrepreneurial city narrative. And David Harvey wrote a famous text in 1989 about the shift from managerialism to entrepreneurialism. And he defined that managerialism was a older, broadly social democratic form associated with social redistribution, provision of services and amenities to local populations. Entrepreneurial governance is more a market-led mode of governance preoccupied with facilitating economic growth for capital. In the context of this shift, as I said, was the kind of post-industrial economy, and Glasgow's a real market like that. But you could also look at places like Cardiff, Sheffield, Newcastle, Manchester. There's any number of cities in the way that kind of follow this pattern. So I think it's important to realise this is kind of not only a national thing, but also a global phenomenon, and it's very much related to a kind of post-industrial shift. I mean, be careful with this term post-industrial, because some people are still working elsewhere and producing goods and commodities. But generally now, like if you take Glasgow for instance, the manufacturing sector accounts for 6% of the workforce. So predominantly we're talking about 80–90% of the workforce is in services, broadly defined if you include the financial sector and the banking sector and so on. Supermarkets in the UK now are the second biggest economy in the UK. So there's huge shifts that we've undergone. And in a way now, the way that money is earned isn't necessarily through factories or through the workplace, it's earned through financialisation and a lot of property development, development plan. So the kind of conditions that Mary and Helen and Margaret are facing directly relates to the kind of economy that we live in now, and the way that capital is actually generating profits, for a very, very small amount of population and social elite. So in Harvey's account, he talks about three main aspects of the entrepreneurial city. First is the privileging of public-private partnerships, in which local government powers and funds are mobilised primarily to attract private capital rather than deal with social and economic polarisation. Second, this partnership is characterised by a socialisation of risk and cost by the public sector and a privatisation of potential benefits from the private sector. In other words, rebate the cost of the private development profit. Third, the local state tends to concentrate on the image-based construction of place in the form of city branding, place marketing and the production of urban spectacle, rather than the amelioration of structural conditions in the territory where that place is located. And the key issue for the entrepreneurial city is the provision of a good business climate. And we have a context where, in this kind of post-industrial landscape, cities increasingly try to find inward investment. And in order to do that, they have very little productive capacity in themselves. In order to do that, they're almost reduced to begging for financial investment, and basically given increasingly lucrative or tax breaks, rate rates. I mean, the situation with the Games Village is actually quite an interesting example for that. With the developers don't have to put any money up front into that deal. The City Council are putting all that money up front, and there's a profit sharing agreement that will come out after the development is finished, but nobody knows what that profit sharing agreement is. So there's a really there's a sort of shadowy corporeality to all this as well, in the sense that a lot of this, because you have private investment in it, and it's not transparent, and it's very difficult to find information out about a lot of these things as well. So there's a change of governments and a change of legislation quite often that occurs in these types of large-scale urban developments. There's a really interesting piece of research done by, I can never pronounce this guy's name, so Eric Schwingerud, and a group of researchers in 13 large-scale urban development projects in the early, like 2000, 2001, throughout Europe. So huge, similar scale to the things that you see on the line. Places like Berlin, Copenhagen, Dublin, Athens, Rotterdam, London, etc. So out of that research, the 5 main points that they found that kind of carried across all these major urban development projects were: 1, exceptionality measures. So large-scale urban development projects were increasingly used as a vehicle to establish exceptionality measures in planning and policy procedures. So if I take one example in Glasgow, people know about the M74, which links up to the M8 on the south side of Glasgow, and there was a really significant campaign in Glasgow some time back called Jam 74, which challenged the basis for the construction of a road through an independent public inquiry. And the independent inquirer surprisingly said, considering that generally these things aren't very independent, surprisingly said that the road shouldn't go ahead on the grounds of economy, environment, displacement, disturbance to the local population, a whole raft of kind of economic, social, environmental arguments. And on the very day that that report was announced, the First Minister at the time said, doesn't matter, the road's going ahead anyway. And the basis for that was that it was supposed to be for the greater good of Glasgow population as a whole. That's a really identifiable way that these types of exceptionality measures can be used. So the democratic planning mechanisms were basically completely overturned in that case. They also noticed that local democratic participation mechanisms are not respected or applied in a very formalist way. M74 again comes to mind, and I think we can talk about that a little bit, maybe in the market and the Safety Accord campaign. I think probably most people with an anecdotal sense would understand that when a consultation comes along, it's generally not to genuinely ask people what they think about large developments. The answer's usually already given, and there's a little bit of room for manoeuvre in terms of maybe the kitchen tiles or a housing estate or so on. So large-scale urban development projects are poorly integrated at best into the wider urban process and planning system. Glasgow Harbour, again, at Partick's another brilliant example of that. It's cut off by the expressway. It has absolutely nothing to do with that area. It's not integrated at all. The Pacific Quay, when they first developed that, which is the kind of so-called media quarter, I saw the plans for that at an early stage. And the Pacific Park, some people might know this area. It's a very small park that's at the back of Pacific Quay, in between there and Kinning Park. That was supposed to be a throughway between Kinning Park and that area, so that it was easily accessible for the local population. But if anybody actually goes to that